Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be putting some aluminum core BarkBusters on the Tenere 700. Obviously they give you these factory ones, but as you can see, they are just all plastic. There is no reinforcement in here. So when the bike tips over, this is really going to provide no protection for my brake or clutch lever. And it's also not going to really do much to protect my hands if I mash this into a tree. So I had somebody ask me the other day in the comment section why it is that I'm making modifications to this bike before I can even ride it. And if you guys aren't following the channel, I got hit while I was on my KLR 650 on the way to pick this bike up. And because of that, I have not been able to ride it at all yet. So that is definitely a fair point. However, the stuff that I've got planned for the bike to do before I ride it is mostly just protection type stuff like this. I know just from riding my KLR 650 that this is something that that I was going to want to do anyway. That bike had them, and I absolutely loved having that protection for tipping over, and having the protection for your hands is always good too. Alright, this is a 17, it looks like. What's happening? Can it go the other way? It does. So your right hand side is threaded backwards. Woo. Watching the camera, not what I'm doing. And I've actually seen... Why is this lighting so terrible? Does that help? Not really. Alright, well you have to deal with terrible lighting. I've seen them on the Tenere Facebook page use this to mount some auxiliary lights up front. But I'm not going to be doing that. I've got something else coming for that. So I'll just put this back in. Boy, does that feel weird threading that in the opposite direction. I suppose I won't know that's right until I can actually sit on the bike, which I have still yet to do. Somebody is saying they didn't believe me that I haven't sat on it yet, and I have not. I'm being very, very careful with my foot because I was told that if I mess it up anymore than I already did, then I'm going to need surgery. And I don't want surgery. I want to be able to ride this thing. As much as I'm looking forward to sitting on it, I want to ride it more. Alright, on to this side, and I think this side is actually loose already. Yep. What's going on with that? Now this is going to be lefty-loosey, I think. Yep. Whoops. Anybody need a set of these? What are you guys using for mirrors? I feel like I shouldn't even be putting these back on. I've kind of looked at the double take ones that are the I think the adventure ones, because I got a couple different kinds. I got a dual sport one too, but I kind of like those. Those use a like a ram mount system with the rubber balls and the clamps, and that would probably be the best thing to have for off-roading. I have broken a couple KLR 650 mirrors in my day, so. Alright, so here we go. This is what I'm going to be using. This is actually pretty much the same setup that I had on the KLR 650, except as you can see, this is the kit that is specific for the Tenere. We'll have to see about that. I'm not really sure what's all in here compared to what I had on the KLR. The rest of this all pretty much looks the same, and those always worked great on that bike. Meow. Meow. What are you doing with my trim? It's really hard to record and balance on one foot. And then these are going to be pretty self-explanatory. I think I got some little wind deflectors in here too. Hopefully. I actually don't even remember what I ordered, to be honest. I actually had to provide Revzilla my email address and wait for these to get in stock, because for I think like 2 months they were out. I don't know if they actually had some to begin with and then sold a whole bunch of them, or if they just didn't have them at all yet to begin with, but they had the listing out. I don't know, it was kind of strange. So I will put a link down in the description for where I got them, but I guess I wouldn't anticipate that there's going to be a set there for you if you go to look. These just screw in with those holes there. You've actually got two options for mounting this, which would be the low holes here and then the high holes. So if you mount them in the low spot, that much deflection. And if you mount them in the high spot, which is I think what I'm going to do since I don't plan on putting heated grips on, then you got that much extra protection. It looks like we do have bar end weights in there. Cool! Didn't even remember what I ordered. Okay, where's my chair? Oh. Oh, man. You guys hear my little guy up there making all sorts of racket? He's quite the talker these days. Oh, he's got all sorts of things to say. We just have no idea what he's saying. And he likes to throw stuff around. I think in the video where I was putting the radiator guard on, I think you can hear some banging around going on upstairs. That's him throwing stuff around. So now, I gotta figure out how to get this off. I don't really know if that just is gonna twist off. It kinda doesn't seem like it, but I guess I'll get that figured out. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess this is not the tool that you're supposed to use to remove these stock bar ends. But this is all I've got in my my workshop down here. I think I might have a bigger Allen wrench, which I think is what is supposed to be used on here. I don't know if you guys can quite see that or not, but there is a kind of a cutout inside of the bar end weight. There you go, just that easy. Wow, it's a serious piece of metal. And then to replace that piece, BarkBusters gives you this and that. And you also have this washer that's going to go inside of the recess in here. Other side's just flat. So it's going to fit together like that. Alright, so first we're going to take this guy, which will fit on a 17mm wrench. We'll take that and that's started by hand. And that kind of starts to bind up a little bit. Get your wrench on it and go the rest of the way. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, or tell the difference, but that's a pretty slow return, and I definitely don't like that. Alright, so I've been playing with this a little bit, and I think maybe I'm blaming the wrong company. I think this maybe was actually Yamaha that goofed up. This could actually go over quite a bit. This little plastic piece is actually just loose in there. I don't know if it's just a sort of a little bit of a barrier between this rubber and the metal. Sure seems like that could have been moved over a bit, which would definitely give this a little bit more room here, and then my grip wouldn't be riding on my bar end. Alright, so now that I've been playing with this a bit, it seems like maybe that has loosened up a little bit. I think maybe just me kind of prying on this. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm thinking maybe I could just stick some lithium grease in here or something to kind of keep that a little bit looser, but I think I'm maybe just going to leave that for now before I start cutting stuff up. So I'm just going to get this good and snug. So then next I'm going to grab my bar end assembly here with this washer, which goes inside of the recess in the bar end weight, and then I've just got that slipped over this bolt, which I've got inserted in the bar end, so that goes on like that, and that goes there. The way that I've got this is the way that it's supposed to go on, with this coming down and then out. Beautiful. Alright, so we've got that all together. Now we'll just thread that in. I'm not going to get that real tight, just enough that it kind of holds it there. Now what do we need? I'm going to put that part together. The shorter of the two here is going to go in the front and through this. And these are actually nylock nuts, so that's kind of nice. And then of course you got your backside one here. So those are going to go like that. And then the one with the larger diameter and the bigger head on it is going to be the one that will go into there through your bar end like that. Look at that, almost looks like we're ready for an adventure here. So I've got this still loose, everything over here is still loose, just so I can kind of get this to where I need it to and let everything kind of rest where it wants to without anything binding up. Seems like that all fits in there pretty well. Didn't really have too much of a problem getting that all lined up like that. Nice that the line coming off the master cylinder is well out of the way. If that's too close, you can end up bumping this a little bit one way or another if you do lay the bike down, and then you end up with a loose brake line, which is never a good thing. So keep an eye on that, make sure those two aren't too close together, and if you do ever lay something down that's got these on them, make sure that you're not leaking fluid afterwards. Seems like the electrical chase down here is just fine, plenty of room. At full lock this way, nothing is getting pinched or hitting anything, and full lock the other way. Got plenty of room also, even with the plastic on here, I don't think we should have any issues, so that's really nice. Definitely happy to see that. Seems like they put some thought into this and knew what they were doing, so I think I'm just going to kind of play with this a little bit. I'll probably leave it somewhere around there and then snug everything up. Alright, so she is all tightened down on here. Feeling pretty solid. I never really know how tight you should get all this stuff, because as much as it's nice to have this protection, it is kind of nice if there's maybe a little bit of give there, just so you don't bend anything up. But I've got it all pretty well snugged up to, I think, where I'm going to leave it. You've got these kind of goofy holes inside of the metal rib that the screws are going to thread into for the actual plastic guard part of it. These, I guess I was going to show you what I usually do, since you really can't ever get them all the way protruded through. I just try to get both tips of the screws to, beautiful. I try to get both of the tips of the screws to just kind of get through that nylock part of the nut, and then at that point, there we go, now we finally focused. At that point, at least you know that they're not going to rattle loose. Keep going back and forth with this, and the bike is slowly walking itself over this way. Alright. Yeah, now I can't even get around it anymore. Need one of these. Eventually need one of those. Need those guys. And that means I need a Phillips, which of course is way over here. That's the one that you want to hold the main part of the BarkBuster onto the metal rib. It seems like I'm actually going to have to thread it into here to start with. Once I do, I can line it up on the bar. Oh, look at that. Looking good. I'm going to kind of give this some pressure. Seems like that cuts into that aluminum pretty good. We'll take number 2 and go in there. Looks like we do have a hole that lines up. It's always a good start. Again, kind of push and twist. Oh, don't do that. Anybody else have that problem? I hate using a torque wrench, but if I don't, then I like to over tighten things. So I almost forgot about my extra little deflector here, so those just thread in with these little guys here. Alright, looking better all the time here. Pretty nice. So I didn't get this real tight. I think as long as it's not flopping around, it's probably good enough. You definitely don't want to strip that out. Just threading into plastic. Alright, so I won't bore you guys with the other side. I will just get that done, and then once I've got it complete, I'll turn the camera back on and show you what it looks like. Alright. There we go. What do you think? How do they look? Look pretty good from here. Cannot wait to get out and ride this thing. Another week and a half, hopefully. Yeah, this thing is it's a little high. You can't see my feet, but I don't think there's any way that I'm going to be able to flat foot this thing. I think I'm going to be up on my tiptoes most of the time. Oh. That's alright though. As long as you keep the bike moving, you don't have to worry about how heavy or tall it is, right? So I am pretty happy with how that turned out. I think those look pretty awesome on there. Now I've sort of worked the bike into a corner there, and a little embarrassed to say that I can't move it on my own. I actually had to have my wife position it for me to start making videos. But I am pretty darn happy with how those look on there. Ready for an adventure. Ready for lots of adventures. Yeah, the only problem I really had was that my clutch lever is really pretty close, no matter what I do with the BarkBuster, so I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. Actually, my KLR, I had the same problem where this was kind of always stuck up, kind of almost hitting the plastic here, so I've just kind of got it in the slot between the metal rib and the top deflector there. The other side you got no problem because your brake lever doesn't stick out near as far as your clutch lever does, but I don't really think that should be a problem. I can stick my hands in there, no problem. That's kind of a little close almost, but unless I got some really thick gloves on, that shouldn't really be a problem. But I have to say, all in all, these really fit on here pretty well. No big complaints. I would definitely recommend picking a set of these up if you plan on going off-road. I don't really care which set you buy, as long as you get something with this metal rib on the inside. Don't expect these to do anything for you other than block a little bit of wind. I honestly have no idea why they even waste any time putting these on here. My dad's Versus, which is not an off-road bike, has actual aluminum core ones. I don't know why they put this on an adventure bike. I mean, cost, I guess, but they're almost just not even worth putting on. So thanks for watching, guys. I promise I will get out on this bike and ride it. I'm probably just as sick of install videos as you guys are. I absolutely cannot wait to get out and get this thing dirty and get it tested out. So if you guys want to make sure you are sticking around and getting notified when those videos get put out, make sure you click this Swanky Cat logo and check out these videos right here covering my face up. Nice looking bike.